1.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet world. West Alabama, how are you doing today on this Thursday morning? It is the Joe Gaither Show right here on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. You guys are checking us out on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube at Joe Gaither 6. You're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on Amazon on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. And we appreciate everybody who has subscribed, rated, and reviewed the show on any of those platforms or joined us on any of those platforms. We're having a lot of fun today, or we're going to have a lot of fun today. Actually, let me just do this. We're going to turn off our background because the animals are going crazy today. So if anybody likes the animals, they can see them do their thing in the background. Hey, let's calm that down. Just like a little bit. No fighting, please. All right, so we're going to talk about Alabama basketball, and it's going to be all about really the North Carolina Tar Heels as Alabama gets ready to play in the Sweet 16 tonight, 8:39. You can jump in and join us on the comment section at Joe Gaither 6 if you want to join us and let us know what you think about Alabama's chances tonight. We have watched a little bit of North Carolina this week. We've listened to a handful of North Carolina shows this week. We've kind of got a good feel of who the Tar Heels are, and we did a little research on the history of Alabama and North Carolina. You can read that at BamaCentral.com right now. Alabama and North Carolina have played in the tournament 3 different times, twice in the Sweet 16, once in the round of 32. North Carolina has a 2-1 lead over Alabama. So Alabama looking tonight to basically take on the Tar Heels and even up this season series. What's it going to be tonight? 4.5-point underdog. You think Alabama's going to be able to get it done? I've got keys to the game, but let's look at North Carolina first. North Carolina, ACC champions. They're what? They're 2 wins. They're 1 win away. They're 29-7. They're 1 win away from 30 wins. And the biggest thing you notice about North Carolina when you look at them and when you've watched them this year, ACC regular season champions. I watched the actual ACC title game against North NC State where they lost. They got to the championship game of the tournament and lost. Now they've beaten Wagner, which I don't even care about beating the 16 seed Wagner. I really looked at their Michigan State game a good bit. They are an old team. Been there, done that. They're an old team. Now, Alabama's not young. Alabama's not necessarily young, but yeah, you still got guys like Jaron Stevenson and Sam Walters getting minutes. When you look at Carolina, you see age on age on age. You see Armando Bacot, who's been there for 1,000 years. Armando Bacot goes back to 2019, the 2019 game against Alabama. Look, he's played twice against Alabama. You look at the two times Nate Oates has played. Armando Bacot's been there. He got a double-double in 2019, 12 points, 15 rebounds in Carolina's win. He got 20 points and 10 rebounds in Carolina's loss, their 4 overtime loss to Alabama. So, he's been there for ages. RJ Davis has been there for a hot minute, too. He's a senior. They are an experienced team. They're I think I saw a stat that their average age is older than the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are an extremely young basketball team for the pros, but that gives you a comparison how close, how old this team is. So it's going to be really something to contend with tonight. It looks like to me that Carolina was kind of toying with Michigan State just a little bit. Michigan State got out to an earlier run in their, what was that, a 9 Yeah, they were the 9 seed. I think they were the 9 seed. They got up on North Carolina early, and then Hubert Davis calls that timeout and basically rips into his guys and says, "Oh, you guys aren't competing. You guys aren't really challenging. Michigan State. Come on, raise your level of intensity." And then they do that. They flip the switch and basically from there on out take control of the rest of the game. They go on a big run. They take the lead, and they end up kind of coasting to the finish. It's going to be a challenge. tonight for Alabama. But really, you got to decide how you want to defend them. You look at their offense, and they're very balanced offense. They got good three-point shooters, and obviously Armando Bacot on the inside with his buddy Harrison Ingram present a big challenge. But what do you want to take away? We talked about it with Blake Byler 2 days ago, and if you missed the Blake Byler episode, he's been out on the West Coast. You can check it out on all those podcast platforms. We talked about really kind of what did you take away from Mississippi State, where you let Tolu Smith kind of, okay, you and Grant Nelson, you and Muhammad Wagi, you and Nick Pringle are battling Tolu Smith on the inside, and we're going to shut down Josh Hubbard on the outside. We're going to basically take away your options, your shooting options. I think that's going to be the way you kind of go about things. You saw it's kind of the same sort of thing against Texas A&M. Anderson Garcia had his really good rebounding game, but you took away Wade Taylor and Boots Radford as best you could. Now, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Mark Sears. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Aaron Estrada and on Ryland Griffin. And what is it going to, how much are you going to get out of Latrell Wrightsell? It's going to put a lot of pressure on those guys guarding the RJ Davises, guarding the Cormac Ryans, and guarding who? Elliot Cadeau, Seth Trimble, those kinds of guys. And look, Elliot could you leave Elliot Cadeau off. He's kind of been more of an offensive liability for Carolina than an offensive asset. So out of the starting five, you basically say, look, you're going to let Armando Bacot, that old man, what's he, 45 years old? You're going to let that old man, Grant Nelson, good luck tonight. Nick Pringle, good luck tonight. You guys are going to go in there, and maybe you're going to try to deny him the basketball, front him from the front, play him from the front, and hopefully your pressure on the outside guys, on the smaller guys, on the guards, will make it difficult for them to get the basketball into the post. You're not going to stop Bacot. You're not going to stop him tonight. And really, Alabama struggled against big men all season long. So I think that it's going to be very imperative for Alabama to hold RJ Davis to under his season average 21 points per game this season. He's really been driving the boat for the Carolina Tar Heels. You hold him under his season average. You make him turn the basketball over a time or two, get into his head a little bit. Look, put Ryland Griffin on him and get a body into him. I think that you're going to see a lot of RJ Davis and Mark Sears, and it's going to be very interesting to see the two of them go head-to-head against each other because of where they've been at on a lot of these watch lists. You've seen the Cousy Award list. Mark Sears is a finalist along with RJ Davis. I think RJ Davis was named a Naismith Award finalist, but Mark Sears was not. So you've seen kind of national media comparing the two guys. It's going to be a lot of fun to see them go head-to-head this evening, and I'm very, very excited about the game. Now, look, this is the first time that Nate Oates is an underdog in the NCAA tournament, which is wild to say. Obviously, you lost in 2022, right? You lost in 2022 as a 6 seed to North Carolina, and Cormac Ryan was 7 of 9. He scored 29 points. And you're going to see him for the first time again tonight with North Carolina. Then in 2023, you beat who was it? Corpus Christi, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and then you take on Maryland, you win, and then you lose against to an underdog seed, San Diego State. Not good, not fun. And now this year, Alabama has won as a favorite in both their round 1 and round number 2 games. This will be really Coach Oates' first time coaching as an underdog. I wonder how he will really embrace that. Now he's used to that. He's been there, done that. I don't want to paint the picture that he's inexperienced in that role. That was pretty much the only role he took on when he was head coach of the Buffalo in Buffalo. He took Buffalo to the tournament twice. Both times as underdogs. They beat Arizona in the tournament and had 2 good runs, as a lower seeded team. So it's going to be fun tonight. And I think that maybe Coach Oates will be able to press a little bit of a disrespect button. You've seen the 93% of the money in Las Vegas, the gamblers, 93% of the wagers are going on North Carolina. So Alabama, where you are right here, Sweet 16, think about where we were on Monday. Monday, we were celebrating the weekend. We were celebrating beating Charleston and beating Grand Canyon and the season that it was. And I think you should hold on to that feeling. No matter what happens tonight, if Alabama beats North Carolina, celebrate your tail off in this, and the fun season continues. But if North Carolina wins, North Carolina is the favorite for a reason. North Carolina is a 1 seed for a reason. I know there was a lot of questions about North Carolina or Tennessee or North Carolina or Iowa State as kind of that final 1 seed. But North Carolina, top 10 metrics according to a lot of the analytics, and obviously they had the experience, a former national champion with Armando Bacot just a couple of years ago. Like, I think that I think that really Natos, you've maximized this year. So going into tonight, Alabama fans should probably remember that or hold on to that. Look, you're going to see the negative chatter about NATO. It's in the Alabama basketball program. If Alabama loses and comes up short, and that's fine. You take that on the night that you lose, but really you just celebrate everything that the season has been. So we'll see what happens tonight. All right, here's the deal. I did just a little bit earlier in the day for BamaCentral.com, and we recapped the Alabama series against North Carolina in the NCAA tournament. North Carolina 2-1. North Carolina's won the last 2 meetings. And look, it's been a while, 1982 and 1992. Alabama won in 1976, beat them 79-64, but went on to lose to Indiana, who won the national championship. 1982, look, if you weren't born by then, that was Michael Jordan's freshman season. They go on to win the national championship. They beat Alabama 74-69. They have a hell of a team. Sam Perkins, James Worthy, freshman Michael Jordan. Alabama held Michael Jordan to 11 points, but everybody else was in double digits as a starter as well. So it was just a tough day. Now, how tough was it? Alabama was called for 27 fouls in 1982 to North Carolina's 14. They went 26-31 from the free throw line and beat Alabama to go on to march on to win the national championship. And then in 92, look, 92 is kind of an interesting year. It's kind of an interesting matchup because the current North Carolina head coach, Hubert Davis, led Carolina in scoring 16 points, 9 rebounds, I think is what I read, 16 points and 9 rebounds, and Carolina won the game, beat Alabama 64-55. Alabama shot terribly, like 29% from the floor, not from the 3-point line, from the entire floor, and really just a tough day for the Crimson Tide. Not really their day, losing in 1992. Now, look, here's your chance. It's been what's that, 30 years? It's been near 30 years since you matched up with Carolina, and once again, you go up against a North Carolina legend. You've got Hubert Davis as head coach on the bench. Won a national championship already. You've got Sean May as an assistant coach, national championship player. You've got Armando Bacot, who we just highlighted. Armando Bacot, number 1 all-time in rebounds for North Carolina. Number 2 all-time in scoring for North Carolina. So, it's going to be a big old challenge up there, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun tonight to try to even the series against the North Carolina Tar Heels. All right, so what are the keys to the game? What are your keys to the game? If you've got keys to the game, you can let us know right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, where you can find us at Joe Gaither 6 on the social media machines to leave us a comment, question, query, or complaint. Here are I got 3 keys to the game. I got 3 keys to the game. What was I about to do? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before I hit the keys to the game, I want to tell you about Druid City Music Hall. They're going to have their next concert on Friday. Daniel Donato Cosmic Country is playing on Friday. You can buy tickets at druidcitymusichall.com. I am 95% sure that I'm going to be there watching Daniel Donato and seeing how he plays. He was very Allman Brothers / folksy meets a little bit of electric EDM. It was a very odd mix, interesting mix. I'm looking forward to hearing it live and in person at Druid City Music Hall. You can get your tickets at druidcitymusichall.com. He'll be taking the stage about 9 o'clock or so on 9 o'clock or so on Friday, and he'll get done, right before midnight. And you can get out of there just before the strip gets really wild and crazy if you want to. So my 3 keys to the game. My 3 keys to the game tonight for Alabama. If the Crimson Tide wants to win, they have to do 3 things. First, Look, the three-point shooting against Grand Canyon was atrocious. It was not good. Let me pull my line here. It was 8 of 31, 26%, and we went over it with our man Blake Byler on Tuesday. Alabama was 1-6 in games where it was 25% or under from the three-point line. This game made him 2 of 6. So yeah, you beat Florida at home, and then you beat Grand Canyon 2 times where you've won games shooting terrible percentages from beyond the arc. You're gonna have to make 14 3-point shots. You're going. That's my magic number. Now, can you win the game shooting, making 10, making 9, making 11, making 12? Sure, you can, absolutely. But here's my thing. I think you're going to have to shoot the lights out. I think you're going to have to take this game to a number that Carolina just can't get to. I think you're going to have to exploit the three-point shooting just a little bit more. And yeah, you had a terrible night against Grand Canyon, but pretty good night against College of Charleston, 13 of 23. Now, yeah, that's below your 14, Joe. Come on now. 13 of 23, their percentage was 57%. All right, so basically they lit them out of the gym. They shot them out of the gym early, a high percentage. So my amend to that is 14 or more three-point shots or 30% or higher. One of the two, preferably both, but one of the two. You're going to have to, if you're not going to get to the 14 number, that's fine, but you're going to have to be over 30%. You're going to have to be really efficient when you take those threes. If you're not going to get to a high volume number, we've seen Alabama before go like 18 of 47 or so, 18 of 43. If that's what you want to do, fine. Get to 18, take your 43, and get up and down the floor and shoot North Carolina out of this game. I think that you're going to have to really, really get up and down and get after them. So my number is 14 or more three-point shots. And look, it doesn't all have to be on one player. You say, Joe, that sounds like a lot. You get 3 from Mark Sears. You get 3 from Ryland Griffin. You're at 6. You get 3 from Jaron Stevenson. You get 3 from Sam Walter. You only got to get a handful from different guys. And boom, Latrell Wrightsell. If Latrell plays, you get 3 from Wrightsell, you get 1 from Estrada, you get 1 from Grant Nelson. It just starts to stack up. And so I think Alabama is going to either have to hit 14 or more three-point shots or make at a 30% or higher clip. Likely both, really, and preferably both, for Alabama to have a chance to beat North Carolina. Now, the next key for me is no one needs to foul out. No one fouls out for Alabama. Look, shooey, Alabama has been plagued with foul trouble all year long, and people have complained, oh, so-and-so gets a tough whistle, Grant gets a tough whistle, oh, the officials are out for Alabama. Cut the hooey. Cut all that. That's not, I mean, is it a tough whistle? Fine, no problem, but you've got to adjust at this point. You've been going at it since November, and you've been seeing how you've been officiated since November, so it's time really to lock in. And look, they did a pretty good job against College of Charleston. What would you have? 22 total team fouls, and your only foul trouble was Muhammad Wagi. And I mean, come on, and Estrada a little bit, but Estrada played his 30 minutes. So really the team did a pretty decent job. Only 3 fouls for Nick Pringle. Now against Grand Canyon, not as good. 27 fouls, 5 Jaron Stevenson fouls out, 4 for Grant Nelson, and 4 for Ryland. You get into a little bit of foul trouble against Grand Canyon, and they got to the free throw line 37 times. Charleston got to the free throw line 29 times. You're going to have to, you can't give North Carolina free points. And I think that really that's one area of the defense, one easier area of the defense that Alabama can correct with the little time that's left in the season. Can you play without fouling? Can you play with your hands, attached to your body? Don't get wild and out of control. Obviously, we like diving on the ball, and effort fouls are no problem. But be smart. We can't have fouls on the offensive end. You can't have fouls where you're either charging in there with the basketball or moving screens. Like, these are problematic fouls. These are not smart. You can't foul a three-point shooter. Latrell Wrightsell fouled a three-point shooter against Grand Canyon. Like, these are not smart fouls. Effort fouls. Okay. North Carolina is 12th in the country. Here's the reason why I'm saying this is a big point of emphasis for tonight specifically. North Carolina is 12th in the country in free throws attempted. 829 free throws attempted this year, 12th in the country. That's the 362 basketball teams in the country. They're 12th in getting to the free throw line. They made 624, good for 75% as a team. 22 a game, right? So you can't let them march to the free throw line, slow this game down by grinding you out, getting to the free throw line and just going 2 for 2, 2 for 2, 1 of 2. 2 for 2, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and putting you in a hole, basically putting extra emphasis on your offensive possessions while limiting your bench and basically handcuffing Nate Oates into different lineups. I think Alabama has a good chance to win tonight, but their best chance to win tonight is a free and clear Nate Oates allowed to substitute at will because no one's getting into foul trouble. Now, Armando Bacot's going to be a load. He's going to be a load, and I think that you need to expect Nick Pringle to probably foul out. This will be, one of these guys on the front lines is they're going to get into foul trouble. Hey, thank you guys. Let's be nice. You're going to get into foul trouble on the front line. I think you need to prepare for it watching the game. But if Alabama can avoid it, that'll go a long, long way to winning the basketball game. All right, and number 3, we've been harping on it all year long, 11 or fewer turnovers. 11 or fewer turnovers. Give your defense a chance to win the game. So we're going 14 or more three-point shots, 30 combined kind of with a caveat, 30% or higher from beyond the line. And then you don't want to get in foul trouble. Probably let's put a number on it. You want to hold them to 25 or fewer, 23 or fewer free throw attempts, because they're going to make them at a high clip. So they're going to make, you want to hold them under 16 makes, probably under 18 makes from the free throw line because you're playing smarter. I think that's a tall task. I think that's a hard ask from an Alabama perspective. But number 3 is 11 or fewer turnovers. 11 or fewer turnovers because Alabama's averaged 12 this year. They went 10 against Charleston and went 14 against Grand Canyon. Now, Grand Canyon was playing very physical. North Carolina hasn't really forced a whole lot of turnovers this year, but you cannot. Look, their offense is very good. You got to give your defense a chance to get set every single time down the floor because Carolina can run. They're not going to play overly fast, but they can run. If you let them get out to transition, they're very good at finishing at the rim. They're very good at getting out and running when opportunities present themselves. That's not really their preferred game, but if Mark Sears or Aaron Estrada or somebody throws an errant pass, you cannot have that lazy cross-court pass that gets tipped down the floor for a dunk. Those turnovers cannot happen. And then subsequently, you cannot have, going back to the last point and combining it with this point, you cannot have the offensive fouls. Now, you get a tough call on a block charge. You've seen the block charge really go the way of the offensive player this year with the emphasis. And so that may or may not happen, but small chances. And you don't complain about that. But the moving screens, you've seen Grant, you've seen Nick Pringle, you've seen several of Alabama's players get caught in moving screens and turn the basketball over just on cheap possessions like that. And you have to end each possession with a shot. North Carolina only turned it over 5 times against Michigan State. They're going to protect the basketball. So what you got to do, you got to clear the defensive glass. You got to rebound. You got to team rebound against Armando Bacot and Harrison Ingram. I think it's going to be very important for that. That kind of goes as maybe a bonus 4th point, but really I think it's all begins with not turning it over. Alabama with 12, averaging 12. Don't tally up fouls on the offensive end. Keep them off the break. They only run when opportunities really present themselves. So that's really my 3 keys for the game. Do I think that Alabama's going to win? I'm sitting over here not expecting it. Sorry, Nate Oates, and sorry, Alabama basketball fans and Alabama basketball program. My faith is very low. I think you can win. Somebody asked me this morning, and I said, about a 40% chance. Is what I give them. Because do I think they can hit 14 or more 3-point shots? Yes. I think that's rolling the dice, and you better come up on the right number there. And I think it's a tall ask to have them play without fouling, especially with the prowess that Armando Bacot is. Now, 11 or fewer turnovers, I think it's possible. I think it's very doable. Only averaging 12 per game this year. You've seen them get into some games on the road where they turn the basketball over, but out of the 3, I kind of think that the 3rd is the most likely, not turning it over. But I don't know what to expect as far as shooting the ball. I'm not sure. I'm not. Michael giving himself away. Michael Bronner, WNSP. You can see him at 105.9 105.5. Yeah, not 105.1, 105.5 down there in Mobile, WNSP. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Those are my three keys to the game. 14 or more three-pointers at a 30% or higher clip. No one fouls out, and 11 or fewer turnovers. If Alabama does all three of those things, when the clock is ticking down, 90 seconds left to go, you're going to see on the scoreboard the Tide is right there in the game and really might be in control if they're taking those three, if they do all three of those three things. So we'll have to find out what happens tonight. I'm going to get out of here for the day because there's not much else on my brain except for the Sweet 16 game. You'll be able to follow Blake Byler and Katie Windham. They flew out to LA. Katie flew out to LA. Blake Byler flew from Washington to LA. So they're there covering the game for us at BamaCentral. You can follow their coverage, Blake Byler 45 and Katie Windham _ on the Twitter machine, and they'll bring you everything right there at BamaCentral.com. We'll post it on our social medias. We're kind of operating two different websites at the moment. If you've been paying attention, that's A-OK. We appreciate everybody who's been paying attention and who's been reading us on both of the websites, but we'll work that out as time continues on. We appreciate your patience, and we appreciate everybody who's tuned in to us right here at BamaCentral and BamaCentral.com. This has been the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Thanks for subscribing on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on Amazon. Go get your tickets for Friday's show at Druid City Music Hall at druidcitymusichall.com. I'll see you there, hopefully celebrating a Sweet 16 win. We'll watch Tennessee in the corner while we listen to live music. That'll be a lot of fun, and we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.